the why are we here? So those of you that have not had a high school student before, when a 8th grader comes to high school, it starts counting. And what I mean by that is there's credits. You're getting a credit for a class. At the end of the day, the credit adds up to the graduation. They get to shake my hand after 4 years. So reason for the college and career ready information and the way the state is going, a test score as far as Fort Wayne Community Schools, one test score does not define who a student is in this district. We're trying to give the students a pathway, something that if they do not do well on I-STEP, that they're going to have that backup plan. We call it the safety net. And then that way when they are eligible as a senior to graduate, there will be no questions and they'll be able to get that diploma.
So anytime the state of Indiana changes high school graduation requirements, they always make that change effective for an 8th grade class that's about to enter high school. So your students are on the cusp of that wave coming in with these new graduation high school requirements, and that is why we're here this evening to discuss what those changes and those differences are, so that you're aware of them. And this will not be the only time you hear about these. This will not be the only time your student hears about these requirements. But we wanted to give this opportunity to put it out there at the beginning. If you'll notice, there are 3 graduation parts that a student has to complete in order to graduate. There are 3 domains, and conveniently enough, they're titled Domains 1, Domain 2, and Domain 3. If you, again, as Mr. Swinford mentioned, had an older child that went through high school, the 2 things you had to worry about is that they earned the right credits and they passed an I-STEP. So the difference is that they've added some more requirements for students to graduate. In the first domain, that should look familiar to anybody who's already had a student go through, because it's exactly the same. The student has to have earned one of the diplomas that's available in the state of Indiana, and that is earned by earning the right number of credits in the right classes. Domain 2 talks about employability, and that is something that is different in these graduation requirements that the community and business leaders were looking for, and we'll get into more detail in a little bit on these slides. But a student has to complete something that's either a project-based learning experience or a service-based learning experience or a work-based learning experience. Again, just completing one of those 3. And then the last domain shows post-secondary readiness, whether that post-secondary experience is going to be going straight to work, whether that's going to be going into the military, whether that's going to be into trade school or a 2-year school or a 4-year college. Students will have many post-secondary options, but this will demonstrate that they are ready for one of those choices. In Domain 1, again, a student has to earn a diploma that's offered in the state of Indiana. The diplomas are either general diploma, core 40, academic honors, or technical honors. Again, we'll get to more details in those in a moment. But that part hasn't changed. The number of classes or what those classes are or how many credits for each of those diplomas is the same as it has been the last several years. This is a nice graphic that's available on the website for the Indiana Department of Education, and it tells you exactly what those credits are for each of the diplomas you're trying to earn. Just roughly, if you look on the left, it's called a core 40 diploma because it takes 40 credits to earn. And then to the right a little bit, it tells you what additional criteria you have to meet to earn either an academic or a technical honors diploma. Again, this is available on the internet at the Indiana Department of Education website if you just to search for graduation requirements. This is a graduation checklist that we as a guidance department keep track for each of your students. It's just a nice visual checklist to make sure that your student is on track to graduate. Again, it's just here to show that that we do keep track of what credits a student is earning, and we use this information to help them schedule for classes each year at high school. So that was all Domain 1. Domain 2, the employability skills. Again, this was really driven by local and national business leaders looking for ways that students can experience applying what they know in an educational setting while they're still in high school. So while students are in high school, at some point between the first day of ninth grade and into their senior year, they have to demonstrate one of these skills, either some project-based learning, some sort of service-based learning, or some sort of work-based learning. Some of the examples for the project-based learning, we're really excited that Southside High School is on the cusp of implementing a STEAM filter through our curriculum, the science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. And Southside High School has also been fortunate to receive a large magnet grant, which will enable us to expand how we teach things and the tools that students use to learn those things. So a lot of the curriculum is going to focus on some project-based learning opportunities. Service-based learning is an example where students as an individual or group partner with somebody in the community and do some sort of service-based project. Another way that that could be fulfilled is for students to participate in high school athletics, or perhaps a marching band, or perhaps school play. And those things will be hammered out in detail further on, but the student will demonstrate leadership, teamwork, focus, and skills that have been learned while in high school. The work-based learning, anytime a student has a part-time job while they're in high school or participates in an ICE program or any other co-op or internship, that student can demonstrate proficiency there. So those are just 3 quick examples of how employability skills can be demonstrated by students. And again, our district is growing and Southside is growing in how we will allow these students to fulfill these. These are not things that families should worry about their students pursuing outside of the school day. These things will be done during the school day. And the last one, the post-secondary readiness. This is where a student can demonstrate that they are ready to go on to further education or immediately go into the workforce after high school, and they demonstrate that through different tests and assessment, either earning honors diploma or the list of exams here. And we'll go to in a little bit detail further what those scores are.
Okay, hi. I am very glad you guys are here. So I just want to go over a couple of things. You've been given a lot of details. And one of the ways that you can keep track of those details is we have a tracking sheet that's included in your packet. So you want to take a look at that. And that way you and your student, so students, you guys are not absolved of all this. Actually, you're the ones that really need to be keeping track of what you're doing, okay? So if you look at that tracking sheet, it's broken down into domains 1, domains 2, and domains 3. And so that will be a very easy way for you to keep track of what you've done. And remember, you have to have completed at least one thing in each domain. We have outstanding guidance counselors here who really care about your student. And we're talking about academically, socially, emotionally. It's really a great group of people.
All right, so in closing, and I know your heads are swimming and spinning, and because the same thing happens when we sit in meetings, and all this information is given to us, but a lot of this will make sense, and I promise that as well. But there is a graphic that you guys can see online. It's on the state website, and it kind of looks like a maze. But the moral to the story is that whichever path your son or daughter, if they pass I-STEP and that's what they need for their diploma, that's awesome. We have their back. If they are a student that struggles with the I-STEP or whatever state assessment our lawmakers come up with, if they're struggling on that, just know that there are safety nets and there are ways that your son or daughter can still graduate. And that's what's up to us.